Hi everyone, it's Mitch. It's Wednesday, October 15th. We're right in the middle of October. We're right in the middle of college football season. Another night with no games, and you know we're ready for tomorrow night, and we'll be talking all about those games tomorrow. We have a bunch of conference matchups that we're going to talk about in just a bit. First, I just want to talk about my newsletter and say if you haven't signed up, you still have time. You can sign up anytime you want, but starting next weekend, not with this week's games, but with next week's games, we're gonna have a picking contest. It's free to enter. We're gonna have prizes and all that kind of fun stuff, and we'll list the standing. Hopefully, we get a little bit of trash talk going on in the forum, a little bit of taunting. I've gotten some emails. I haven't seen so much in the forums, talking about it. Of course, we have a couple guys picking games in there, and it's increasing, and people leaving comments. You guys are always welcome to. I get a lot of emails, and I'd hope that you guys would maybe move that to the forums, because more than likely, if you guys have a question, then somebody else probably has the same one. If you want to talk about a game, I'm sure there's many people that want to talk about the game. I get a lot of visitors here. Most people are the quiet type, and that's their choice, and that's fine as well. In any event, let's get to a couple of this week's games that I wanted to talk about, that I wrote about in today's blog. One of them is the Georgia Bulldogs taking on Vandy. This is an interesting game, and a lot of people are going to say, well, we got an SEC matchup, and Vandy's been pretty decent this year, and Georgia has been kind of beaten down. I think we need to take a look back and say that, look, if this game happens 2 months ago, Georgia's a 28-point favorite, and everybody's all over Georgia. I don't think that, Vandy has played well. I'll give them that. They haven't been beating teams the caliber of the Georgia Bulldogs. They haven't been beating them on road trips between the hedges. Georgia, they need this game. They need a feel-good game. They need a game to let their stars, they do have stars. We talked about them all preseason. Everybody else did. I was not as big on Georgia as most people were, but actually I've grown to like them more over the course of the season. And, No Sean Marino and Masqua, and they have a nice team. They have Matthew Stafford. They have A.J. Green. They are loaded on offense. They can score points in a hurry. We haven't seen a lot of it because they have not played an easy schedule. Vandy, they played in some tough games. They got shut down by Mississippi State last week, taking their first loss of the season. They played a really tough defense in Auburn the previous week. Georgia's not going to be an easy defense either for them. The difference is that Georgia's offense can score lightning quick, and that's why I think that the Bulldogs cover this spread. In another SEC matchup, LSU taking on South Carolina. This is going to be a tough, hard-hitting game. This is a game that both these teams need. This is a statement game for Coach Steve Spurrier and his South Carolina Gamecocks. Really, and it's going to be a statement as to where his program stands. If they win this game, then they can take on the upper tier teams in their conference. If they lose this game, they're where they've been, which is a middle of the road SEC team, which isn't such a bad place to be. It's just maybe not the type of goals and aspirations they had when they gave Steve Spurrier that gigantic contract in Columbia. I like LSU in this game. I had LSU last week against Florida. They were obviously blown out. Not the first team that I picked this season that's gotten blown out. We've picked a lot of, outright dogs on going the other way too. So, that's part of picking the games. I don't think anyone expected a 30-point Gator victory. It happened early in that one. The game got out of hand. In the first quarter, the game was basically over. Tip ball, Percy Harvin, you give him a chance. He's going to score 100 out of 100 times. One of my favorite players in the country. In any event, I look for the Tigers to rebound in a hard-hitting game in Columbia, South Carolina this weekend. In the ACC, I really like Wake this week, laying less than a field goal at Maryland. I just don't see the Maryland offense being able to move the ball effectively and consistently against the Wake defense. I look for Wake to play their normal game, create the short field, create scoring opportunities, whether they be touchdowns, field goals, just keep piecing them together and come out with a nice cover. The line is 1.5 points in that one, and I see Wake covering no problem. In any event, this is Mitch. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We got 2 games tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about those extensively. One of them is a big time matchup between BYU and TCU, which is going to probably go a long way to deciding who's going to be playing in the BCS this year. So in any event, have a great day. This is Mitch, and thanks for joining me.